Could have used a better pass there. Now, on to football and the biggest story of the NFL offseason, the Aaron Rodgers-Packers standoff. On a Zoom promoting their upcoming golf match, Tom Brady and Bryson DeChambeau poked fun at Rodgers, and he responded in the most Aaron Rodgers way possible.
I do think you do have a partner that would probably have liked to go for it a little more often than he has in the past. So, Bryce, I'm glad you're encouraging him to kind of go for it when it's on the line. So rather than, just knock it into the fairway or something like that and try to play for the next shot.
Yeah, I'll never push anyone to do anything. So he can choose whatever he wants to do.
I usually don't get the option.
Okay. All right. Let's bring in our guys, Booger McFarland, Jeff Darlington, Chris Canty. Look, guys, I know he was trying, and Canty, I'll start with you. I know he was trying to have fun with the moment. I'm not going to try to read everything into this, but still, he knows how it's going to be perceived. So what do you make of the passive-aggressive way that all of this Aaron Rodgers-Packers situation is being handled?
Well, I wouldn't expect anything different from Aaron. That's what he's going to do. Like, he stopped short of publicly coming out and saying that he wants out of Green Bay, but he's letting his feelings be known. He feels like the organization has slighted him at every single turn, whether it's them drafting Jordan Love a year ago or not allowing him to have the input in terms of personnel and developing the plan moving forward. So from Aaron Rodgers' perspective, I expect him to do things like this in order to send his message to the organization. The surprise for me is the team president, Mark Murphy, coming out and doing what he's doing, because he's just throwing gas on this situation where he should be a stabilizing force. I mean, coming out and calling him a complicated fella and saying that Aaron Rodgers is dividing the fan base is only creating more of a spectacle and only making Matt LaFleur's job that much more difficult when it comes to setting the tone for the organization in a season where they should have championship aspirations. So you don't expect the team president to put the head coach in the front office in this type of spot with the commentary from him. I'm shocked that a team president is coming out and doing what he's doing.
Okay, good point, because he shouldn't throw gas on that fire. But at the same time, Jeff, I come to you. This whole thing just seems so weirdly passive-aggressive.
Yeah, and I think I found it fun, maybe funny, maybe even a little like cute that they were doing it at the beginning, like, oh, haha, like, let's read into all these things. At this point, it's like, if you're passive aggressive for months, no longer is it passive. Like, let's just say what the problem is. Like, let's just explain this thing out in the open so that we all understand it. Aaron Rodgers wearing the I'm Offended t-shirt. Like, I'm sure this is literally the purpose of it, is for us to then wonder, well, is he offended or is he not offended? And by the way, the guy I feel the worst for in this is Matt LaFleur. Like, he's actually done a pretty good job, and then he's the brunt of one of Aaron's jokes. Who, by the way, I feel like Aaron has respect for Matt. So I guess my whole point in this, I understand the great irony in me saying, let's stop doing that, because what else would we talk about on a June day on about football? But so keep going, but at the same time, like, maybe we could put the chips on the table a little bit more transparently.
All right, that makes sense. And Booger, here's the other thing I wonder about. In the locker room, there are guys whose careers are impacted by Aaron Rodgers playing, by Aaron Rodgers being committed to this organization or not. So in your opinion, what impact does this all have on the locker room?
I don't think it has any impact on the locker room. Listen, everyone understands what's going on with Aaron Rodgers and the organization, guys. He's one of the best quarterbacks in football, if not top three right now. And I think from a business standpoint, we always allow the business to play out in the locker room. You don't ever count another man's money. You don't ever get in another man's issues because you don't want them in yours when that time comes. I just think right now, all the Packers players are on vacation. It's summertime. They're relaxing. And they're hoping when they report to training camp that Aaron Rodgers is there. This reminds me of, have you ever been in a relationship where you guys have decided to break up and then the next day you wake up and you're like, man, you know what? We had some good times together, and you start sending them little messages. Hey, how you feeling today? Are you okay? What's happening? But seriously though, and then later on that day, you're like, you know what? She really ticked me off, and you start remembering why you guys broke up. So it goes, it ebbs and flows. It goes from one moment you want to be with them, the next moment you don't. So I don't look at it as passive aggressive. I just look at it as both of them know that they've had some really, really good times together, and they know they probably are better off together. But from a hard feeling and a personal feeling standpoint, they know they no longer can stand each other. And so the inevitable is I think they're going to be apart.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's
Sounds
a good
like a tough
Thursday when you
relationship,
could start
Booger,
with a relationship advice from Booger McFarland. I just feel so much better right now. Thank you, Booger. Appreciate it. All right, guys, we're going to come back to that. But first, he's already had an MVP